Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. In today's video I'm going to speak on why it's hard when you have depression and anxiety. So a big reason why it's hard when you have depression and anxiety is because most people only focus on themselves. So even though you have depression, most people don't know. And it's because they don't know because they have their own problems that they're dealing with that they think is very important, just like we believe that our depression and our anxiety is very important as well. So even, obviously I have a bunch of examples, but even my friends and even my family members, they didn't even know that I had it, right? It wasn't until the day that I told them, they were kind of shocked, right? And that's my family, right? And they're super caring people, right? And they didn't even know that I had it. Because again, most people think about themselves, so it's tough for them to really get into what's going on in other people's lives. So I'll give you a scenario, right? A lot of times with people, right? People want to be friends with people that show interest in them. Right, so a situation is maybe, like I said, they want you to show interest in them. But because you have depression and anxiety and you believe that you're not good enough to hang out with, you don't ask that person questions about them because you don't want to feel like you're bothering them. I know I felt that a bunch of times. I felt that if I asked them questions, I would be bothering them. So what happens is because you don't ask the questions, they feel like you don't care about them. And because they feel you don't care about them, they don't show an interest in you. Right? And then it's a vicious cycle where when you have depression and anxiety, right, a lot of times people who have those, and I know myself, you don't have many friends. And it's because of that cycle, right? So you are trying to break out of it, right? You're trying to look for people who will ask you how you're doing because it's tough for you to ask other people how they're doing, right? You don't want to feel like you're bothering them. But because you don't want to feel like you're bothering them, they feel that you're not interested or disinterested in them, so then in turn, they stop talking to you. I want to share another example with you. This was like 2 weeks into therapy for me. I remember it very well. I had hung out with some of my friends that I haven't seen in forever. I was friends with them when I was in elementary school. I was about 22, 23. Like I said, it was a couple weeks into therapy for me. And they had gotten a hotel room, and we were meeting there. I remember going there, I had a bunch of anxiety, and I remember particularly we were going to walk the strip, and we were going to go in the elevator. We were waiting for it to come up, and everybody got in the mirror, or in front of the mirror to take a picture, and I remember I stood on the side. I didn't get in the picture, and I remember at that time, I felt really terrible, right? I felt that I wasn't good enough to get in the picture. I felt that, I felt that it just, I felt that I wasn't part of the group. And I remember, after the night was over, I kind of wished that one of them, just one person, would have said, "Hey, Vinny, just get in the picture." And I feel like that would have made me feel good in the moment, and that would have made me feel included, and that would have made me want to get in the picture. Now, again, like I said, that didn't happen. And I remember talking to my therapist that week. I remember actually showing her the picture. I remember crying a little bit. It was very tough for me. Like I said, I was a couple weeks into therapy. And again, I think that illustrates this point perfectly, right? Is I think had they known that any one of those people that I was hanging out with that day would have definitely asked me to get in the picture. But because, again, everybody focuses on themselves, nobody even understood what was going on. And they didn't even think to ask me to get in the picture. And what I kind of realized, with, obviously continuing to go to therapy is it's all on me. not in a overburdening, I can't do this way, but in a way that kind of gave me power, like, okay, I'm starting to understand this is just how people are. It doesn't mean they're bad people, right? My family, they're the nicest people ever, and like I said, they didn't even know. But if mine and my family knew, and a couple of those friends that were there that night, not even they knew, right? It's just how people are, right? Most people are not aware of another person's feelings. It takes a very special person to be cognizant of how you're feeling. And understanding that was very powerful for me. Now a couple weeks back, I actually asked one of those friends if they could get that picture. And me not really thinking, I wanted to be able to show the picture on this video, but me not really thinking that, hey, I'm not in the picture, so my friend was probably looking for a picture with me in it, so he's not going to find it. So, I should probably text him after this video and let him know, hey, you don't have to look for the picture, dude, you're not going to find it probably. But I kind of wanted to show you the video to really show you, like, just a regular selfie, right? Everyone's in the mirror, smiling, having a good time, and I just wasn't in the picture. But I want you guys out there to know that, it's going to be difficult, right? It is, just you, not in a negative sense of, you have to be the only one, but in a positive, like, you can do this, right? You only really need you. You don't need anybody else to get better. If you have those people in your life, that's amazing. That's awesome. But it's a situation of you don't need those people to get better. I hope that makes sense. I'm the only one that has to live with how I feel every single day. So I need to be 100% responsible for making myself feel better, right? Nobody else, because when you put it up to somebody else, again, it's not really fair for the other person because they have their own problems that they're dealing with. They have their own things that's going on in their lives. So it's very difficult to have someone who has a life and a lot of other things going on to actually think that deeply about just any other person. And if you're watching this video, if this is the first video you watched, maybe it's the 40th video you watched. I just want you guys to know out there that if you have depression and right now you're kind of struggling, you're maybe going through some stuff, just understanding that if people ignore you or maybe they're not as thoughtful as you thought they should be, try to give them a break. Again, they have their own stuff they're going through, so it's tough on them too. And really just try to understand that you are enough, right? Just you by yourself can improve yourself enough to where you don't need other people, right? Again, if you have other people, right, if you get to a place where you can talk about what's going on and you can talk to other people, that's great. And if you have those people now, that's awesome. But even if you don't, I just want those of you out there who don't have that to understand and to know that, I did it, you can do it, if you need someone to reach out to, because I know how powerful that would have been when I was in that situation, for someone to reach out to me like that, I definitely would love to help in any way that I can. And another example that I have is, I went to lunch with one of my friends, about a year ago, 10 months, and and I left the lunch, feeling good. It was nice to catch up with a friend, and a couple weeks went by, texted that person, asked them how they're doing. Didn't really get a response. I saw they had read the message but didn't respond. So then I texted them back a little bit later, a couple weeks, maybe a month later, and I got like a one-word response, and I kept kind of like messaging them. Obviously they're my friends, still trying to keep in touch with them, and it took about 10 months. After about 10 months of doing that, right, During that process, though, I started to think, like, maybe did I do something wrong? So I started to text that person. I'm like, hey, did I do something wrong? Like, if I did, could you tell me? And after about 10 months, they had told me that they just felt that I didn't listen enough in the lunch that we had, and that maybe the way that I was talking, some of the things I said, they weren't sure if they wanted that kind of friend in their life, right? Like I said, it took about 10 months, and we had lunch again a couple weeks ago, and I had asked her about it, and we kind of talked a little bit, and she had told me that, she was going through some tough times, and she felt that I wasn't really there for her, and I talked the whole time. And then she said something along the lines of, you want to leave someone better than you found them, so to speak. And I said, I understand. And again, I didn't know that had happened. I left the lunch, the one that we had 10 months ago, a year ago, feeling like it was good, like nothing else had happened. But when I heard that, I had told her, I said, that, and I told her it was ironic because I was actually writing this video specifically about how obviously she was going through some stuff, some hard stuff with her that maybe I didn't recognize, right? And also, it was a year ago, so I was going through some stuff too, right? Trying to be better at communicating and talking, and I was unaware that I had even done something wrong. And like I said, I had tried to text her and see how she was doing and stuff, because obviously I genuinely do care about her and keeping in touch. And it wasn't until after, texting her for 10 months that she'd even told me that I even did something wrong, and so, we both, I guess, made mistakes, and, we both were not aware of how the other person was feeling, and and even though I thought everything was fine, obviously she did not, but I wasn't told that for a while, so I was kind of in that uncomfortable situation, and I just want to leave you with this one too. About a year and a half after I started therapy, I made a post on my Facebook, and in the post, I talked about how I have depression, and I've been working with my therapist. And this is not a post for sympathy or pity. This is just a post for awareness, right? A lot of people like it, right? I think it was my very first post I ever got over 100 likes, And a lot of people said, oh, you're doing great, Vinny, which was awesome. But after the post, kind of goes down your timeline. It gets a day, 2, 3, 1 week old. I didn't really have anybody reach out to me and just say, hey, Vinny, I'm just checking in. I want to see how you're doing. How is everything going? I didn't get any of that. And again, I'm not upset that I didn't get that, because, like I said, I understand that everybody has their own lives. They have their own stuff that they're going through. So I can't be mad at someone who doesn't follow up and just ask me how I'm doing and show a genuine interest. And that's okay, because I will develop friends that do care and will ask. And not to say that people don't care if they don't ask, but care on that level, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And those of you who maybe haven't messaged me, that's okay too. I understand. You're busy, right? I don't always message my friends how they're doing. Sometimes it's a while before I'll think to myself, oh man, I haven't talked to him or her in such a long time, and then I'll message them. So I understand. We all have lives. We're all busy. But again, this post is really just for those of you out there who are maybe struggling right now, who feel like you're alone, right? And it's just you. But I just want you to know that even if it's just you, you can do it, and it's a lot of work. I always talk about that. I never want to make it sound like it was easy. It was never easy. It was a lot of work. But as you see the progression, you feel better. It's not something where you feel terrible forever and then one day it snaps and you feel great. if you continue to put in the work, you'll feel better on a day-to-day basis. And that alone will make you want to work more, because you'll be able to feel just the fact that you're getting better and you feel better about yourself. It's a little longer of a video. Thank you guys so much if you've watched it to the end. Again, feel free to reach out if you feel like, you need someone to talk to. But again, thank you guys so much for watching the video. I definitely look forward to seeing you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.